In this video, I'm going to show you how to complete a new second boss fight secret Easter egg quest in Modern Warfare Zombies that rewards you with an incredible Infinite Cosmos Blueprint for the STG-44 and is the ultimate challenge for any Zombies player to complete this Easter egg. This might be the coolest blueprint reward we've ever had in Call of Duty. So let me break down exactly how you unlock this. Starting off, before even going in, you need to have an Elder Sigil, and you will also need to have unlocked the new Dark Aether Rift that they added with this season. So if you haven't done that and need to know how, there's an interactive card appearing in the top right of your screen. On top of that, I highly recommend that you craft a Scorcher case if you have one, as traversing this new Dark Aether is going to be very difficult without it, and it's highly recommended to have a golden armor plate. And if you have mags of holding, that will make it quite easy too. And lastly, for your loadout weapon, I highly recommend you run an assault rifle, as you will need to have long range to take out the boss. So I've been running the FR Advancer, and this is the attachments I've been running if you want to use this class. Once you're in game, before going in, make sure that you have a tier 3 pack-a-punch weapon as well as legendary rarity via the Aether tool, which you can bring in as a crafted schematic or by getting lucky through contracts. It's highly advised as well that prior to going in, you get contracts, get money so you can buy a ton of self-revives, as it's always better to be stocked up. And the most important prerequisite is you need to start a spore control contract so that you have the inhibitors in your tactical grenade slot. I stow decoys and then pick them up, but you're going to need to use the inhibitor pretty quickly in the Dark Aether. Doing this saves you having to activate the spore control contract once you're in there, as you only have 15 minutes. Once you're all set up with perks, pack-a-punch, and everything ready to go, make your way over to the new Dark Aether Rift and insert the Elder Sigil behind the rift. Once you're inside, you have 15 minutes to complete this, so we're not going to waste any time and go straight ahead to the first step, which is to make your way to the underside of High Rise, which is this building here on the map, right in the middle, where in the middle of the room there is going to be a spore that you're going to want to throw your inhibitor at so that you can destroy it. And once you have, it's going to reveal an R4D detector device that will replace your tactical grenade slot. Pick that up, as we're now going to move on to the next step, which involves you using the R4D detector to follow a bunch of arrows across the map towards a maze. So where you see the red marker here on the wall, you want to look at your R4D detector and it's going to show an arrow pointing left to tell you to go down this road, to follow that along. And then on this building here, you'll see another arrow that's pointing you to continue going down to behind this building, and it's going to lead you to the start of a maze. Throughout the maze, you're going to want to be looking through your R4D detector to see the arrows that you need to go, but it's also important to make sure that you look at every single arrow along this pathway using the R4D detector. During this, there is going to be a ton of zombies and elites annoying you because this is the Elder Sigil Dark Aether, so to make sure your friends are constantly taking out the zombies, and eventually it's going to lead you to this pathway to go up on top of this maze section, where you're going to be following it along, and it will lead you down to the ground here. You'll be outside the maze, but you'll then be led to go back into the maze again via this arrow on the floor and then this arrow on the wall here. Continue to follow the path along, again looking through your R4D detector, and it will take you out to this section where you'll look over here to an arrow on the ground, where on this mat a damp gold skull should have spawned if you've looked at all the arrows correctly. With that gold skull, we're going to head back to the high-rise building where we originally picked up the R4D detector, and when we look at the gold skull's description in the invent, it says "Call me Ishmael," which is a reference to Moby Dick. You'll want to head through these 3 doors into the tower, where in the room is going to be a golden whale statue, and what you'll need to do is traverse your way up towards the roof here to get on top of the whale statue, where right at the front of its mouth there will be a prompt for you to trade the gold skull. By doing so, it is going to spawn a IT thumb drive towards the back of the whale statue, and once you pick it up, you'll notice that there'll be some blue error screens in front of you, and this is a reference to the next step. Now, when we look at the description of the USB that we just picked up, it mentions serial number SP3C Keyh Holder, with the 3C being a hint towards the map coordinate that we need to head to, which is going to be 3C. Now, in 3C is going to be a big building, which is an electronics store. So heading up the stairs here in this building, we can see that there is a sign that says this is the electronics store. When you come through this room and go behind the desk, you'll be able to insert the thumb drive into the computer, and it's now going to spawn a new mini boss called the Keyh Holder, which is a super strong version of a Mangler boss. You'll be able to see there's that red bounty on its head, and there is going to be a ton of zombies as well as the Keyh Holder, which is going to have a ton of health. Once you've taken down the Keyh Holder, it's going to spawn a tower main maintenance key, so make sure you pick that up. And we're now on to the final step, where you're going to need to make your way to the top of the high-rise building, and this is where the Scorchers come in so handy. Again, not necessarily needed because there are a ton of launch pads that can get you up there. Considering you only have 15 minutes in this Elder Sigil version of the Dark Aether Rift, you just want to complete all these steps as quickly as possible. And once you make your way to the top of this roof, there is going to be a locked room that you'll be able to unlock using that key. Opening the door will reveal a weapons case for the Scorcher on the ground, as well as a rift tear. And all players at this point will now need to take the rift, and it will teleport you to a new version of the story mission boss fight, where the time will be reset and you'll have 15 minutes to complete this new boss fight of the entity. Now, this is slightly different to the story mission version, as this version of the boss only has one phase instead of two phases, but this version is significantly harder than the normal story mission version. It appears that the entity has a ton more health, and because you're in the Elder Sigil version of the Dark Aether, you're going to have a lot more elites, a lot more zombies to take down that will naturally have a lot more health. The actual mechanics of the boss fight are exactly the same as the story mission version, where you're going to be hopping between islands as the entity is going to be teleporting around, and the entity is going to have around about 5 white orbs floating around different parts of its body that you're going to need to shoot and destroy, as that's going to do damage to the entity. There are orbs across different parts of the body, including the torso as well as the shoulders, and one on each of the entity's hands, which is where it will do the laser attack, which, if you are not careful, can fully down you and take you out. And this is where items like the golden armor plate is going to be so crucially useful, because it's just going to save you having to plate up and give you more time to just be focusing on damaging the boss. There'll be times where the boss will emit an attack where several of the islands are going to have a red sort of target on them, where if you don't get off the island quick enough, there's going to be a slam attack that will damage a lot of the island, and if you're on there, it's going to be an instant down. You will go down quite a few times in this boss, which is why it's so important to have those self revives as well as healing aura if you're doing this in a team, which I highly recommend. But you should be able to complete this with plenty of time left still to go. We done it in about 10 minutes, and once down, the entity will have that incredible death animation that was in the story mission, but with an included new animation of the screen going black and white. And once the entity is gone, you will see a pop-up saying Entity Blueprint Unlocked, Dark Aether Rift Conquered, meaning that this is now permanently unlocked on your account. And if you make your way over to the reward rift, there's a chance that you'll get some of the new schematics as well as some other unlocks, but you'll also have that new blueprint for you to equip as a weapon if you want to, which is the Infinite Cosmos STG. Inspecting it, you can see that it just looks absolutely amazing. Easily one of the best blueprints that we've had in the entire game. I wish this could be unlocked as a camo, because this really is the ultimate Dark Aether blueprint, really. And this blueprint comes with incredible tracer rounds as well that emit some sort of cosmic purple smoke. And when you're ready to leave an exfil, make your way to the left side of the island where there will be an exfil point. And now when you go over to STG, you'll find the Infinite Cosmos blueprint will be there, and you'll be able to use this to your heart's content in multiplayer Warzone Zombies. Easily one of the coolest unlocks and Easter egg quests we've seen in Modern Warfare Zombies. If this video helped you out, please drop a thumbs up before you click off the video, as I'd seriously appreciate that.